You're uniquely gifted and called to do the work you're made for. And if you've been practicing your gifts and talents and putting those into your profession and it's still not succeeding, maybe it's because you've been going after easy money instead of easy work. There's a difference. And in today's session, we're going to talk about that. It is a brand new season, if you let it be. And I do think it's important to look at the value of the seasons we're coming from, the seasons we're going into, and having a connection in the right way, having a framing, how we're approaching this current season and how we're letting go of the previous one. I love how Paul says in the book of Philippians, he says, here's what I do. I don't count it as though I've already apprehended this calling that I've been called for, but here's what I do. I let go of all of that which is behind me, and I press hard towards what's in front of me, towards what is that call of Christ on my life. So what is that call for you? And how can you approach it in a way that shows it's yours? Did you know that no one else in the history of history, nobody else was as qualified as you are to do the thing that you've been called to do? And did you know that nobody else can do it quite like you can? It is true that others may participate in your movement. Others might be able to find even success in what you do, but none can take your calling and none can apply the gifts and the talents that you have to bring forth in what you're doing. And I believe, and we believe in School of Professional Design, we believe in vocation. We believe that your work is a part of your calling. As a matter of fact, vocation itself means calling. Profession isn't just something you're great at and get paid for. It's what you speak from what you believe. So when we look at these things, work is deeply religious. In fact, if you are a believer as I am, I don't think there's any greater way for you to show your faith than your work. As a matter of fact, someone, James, said, hey, you want to have faith? That's great. I'm going to show you my faith through my works. Jesus himself said, greater works will you do, works with an S. I love that. In the book of Ephesians, it said that in Christ Jesus, God made us new people, that you should do good works, which he prepared beforehand, that you should walk in them. There is something for you to do today. And we're going to look and uncover that design. And some of your approach might have been like you are in tune with who you are, and some of your approach might not be. So I'm just going to lay it out there in front of you. If I were to give you an easy, let's just say success was easy. Let's imagine it was. If I were to lay it out there in front of you, would you allow it to be easy? Would you take the easy path? Now, there are two paths on this easy path to success. One of them is easy money. And one of them is what we're going to call easy work. And it might be, my friend, that in your pursuit of what it is that you were made for and what it is that you want to create, it might be in your pursuit that you've chosen maybe the wrong path. You were made for success. Success is in front of you. If you have something that's locked up inside of you, that is a dream, and that dream is God's permission. You were made to accomplish big things. There are multiple ways of getting there. But as a matter of fact, I would say there are thousands of ways of getting to where it is you're trying to get to, but only a few will work for you. Let's talk about the difference, though, between the two paths to the success that you want. Sustainable, beautiful, amazing success. The two paths. Easy money, easy work. Easy money is going to involve schemes. Easy money is what someone's going to bring to you and they're going to like, this absolutely works. Easy money might be, if you own a business, it might be a lead system. It might be automation. It might be, what are the new ones that they have out there? AI. Just let AI drive everything and run everything. It's so easy, right? Maybe it's crypto, right? It's investing in this. It's the arbitrage with Airbnbs. You bring it in and you do this thing. There are all of these things, and we've all been approached because if you're talented, which you're on here, you're talented, others see you as someone that could make this thing work. There are people that I've worked with in the past where they're trying to grow their business, and I'm not going to name the type of business it is. They're trying to grow their business, and they try to bring me on to help them to bring a team on. And when they bring their team on, their team is the goal of the team is to help them to have more profit in their business. But when you dig into it, you realize their business isn't profitable, meaning you want to recruit a team to sell something, but you can't sell it. Do you see the problem there? You are scheme driven. You are easy money. And so the ways that you can know if something is easy money versus, we're calling it easy work. The way that you can know that is you can ask yourself, is this scheme driven or is it purpose driven? Is this profit driven? Am I just trying to make a buck? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with profit. We need that. If we're professionals, we need profit. In fact, side note, for those of you who are just committed to not having profit, that might be your problem too. You might have a personal internal value issue. But if I could show you who it is that you are, if I could somehow peel back the layers and give you lenses of glasses to allow you to see the identity of what God made in you, I don't think that you would devalue yourself again. And value happens through money. But easy money is scheme driven. If you do it, when you get into it, and I've been into these things before. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share with you a time when I got into easy money, and maybe you'll see yourself here. A few years ago, I saw the power of automation, and I decided to invest myself into an automation company. And as I had this automation company, I had I was serving probably about 20 different insurance agencies, and we were helping them to run their recruiting. We were helping them to run their lead. We were trying to generate a lead system that turns interest into appointments. And I'll never forget the reason. Well, we took an extra step into it because my oldest son said, "Dad, you're making these guys, like, your system is helping them to make millions. Why don't we do this for us? I'll be the insurance company, and let's just use this for us." And so all of my experiments pointed towards us. Now, he wasn't versed at selling, so I was the guinea pig in terms of I had to go first so I could create a process. For those of you who are here, some of you have known me in the midst of this thing. My archetype has to do with definitely more of like the connector personality. So care and uniqueness and individuality and connection with people was a big thing for me. It is a big thing for me. And then purpose. So I'm also more on the visionary side with with the shaman, stuff. And it's like trying to give things purpose and meaning. And here's what I'm presetting this. We spent a few $1,000s and we had, I think, 4,000 leads of people who had at one point expressed interest in buying life insurance in Northeast Florida. And what was going to happen was we were going to experiment on these people and to see which combination of workflow actually prompted them to create appointments of intent. What accidentally happened was after I put together all the scripts and all of those things, I hit send, not realizing there was another automation plugged in. I sent a message that didn't have relevance to the people that were receiving it. And I sent it to 4,000 people at the same time. Again, remember, wired for care, wired for purpose, wired for meaning. And I just did like the most meaningless thing. Why did I do it? Why did I go out of character? Because it seemed easy. felt like it was easy. You know what? All we have to do is this, and then it's easy. Hit a like, and if you've ever had that, and I know you have, because those who are on here are entrepreneurially minded, and all of us are open to an easier and a better way. And so what I'm showing you though is there are schemes that will take you outside of the person you like to be. When you see those, they may work, but for you, I believe it's an easy money promise. Matter of fact, I would say this as well. By the time people are teaching you how to do X, Y, or Z, here's how to recruit more. Here's how to sell more. Here's how to use automation. Here's how to write your book with this. Here's how all of these promises that people will give you that are scheme driven, especially if it's involving business development, what they're packaging for you, what they're giving to you is something that used to work. And they figured out a way to create lessons from it. And now when they give it to you, it might work. The danger of stepping into the easy money plan is you're going to feel vacant of purpose. So you'll quit it. You will feel vacant of connection to it. And so you will quit it. You will, it would, and again, like I showed you my example, but there's so many ways, right? There are so many ways that you've tried things that are not really who you are. Do you really ever give it full effort? You don't. And I'm going to ask you right now to think about investments you've had in yourself, in your business, and in your company, or whatever it is that you're doing professionally. What have you invested in that's been easy money? And if you look at that and look at the commonality through that, you're going to see two things. You're going to see a desire, and you're going to see a willingness to betray yourself. Like your desire was so much that you're willing to betray your true self. But you also might even see a theme, and the theme might show you maybe a weakness that is in your professional system. So that's easy money. The good news is there is still an easy path, and I'm going to show it to you and lay out a framework. And it's easy work. Easy work. Easy work. Listen, everyone is trying to avoid the hard. Well, I just want to stop. Like, listen, if it has to be hard, I think I think some people who are sadists might love and appreciate hard work. I was talking to someone recently who had really gone through a horrific event in his life, lost a loved one in a really just in a bad way. And it's been a little while, but this guy's like, I just love the pain. Give me more pain because that makes me feel alive. I love the pain. And I think there are some of us that have learned to have a relationship with pain as though it's a positive. And if you are maybe like the warrior or like the ruler, the warrior personality type, or you want to be that person, you may have learned to embrace something that you don't need to embrace. It would be like hugging a cactus. And sadly enough, that's what it feels like being around that person I was talking about a moment ago. It feels like hugging a cactus. I think that we can have a good relationship with pain. I don't think it has to be bad, but also if you are working in a way that induces pain and that pain lasts longer than like a learning curve period, you probably aren't doing what is in your design. Now, that's going to be the key to unlocking this. And so, let's see. Yeah, there we go. So easy work is purpose driven. It's effortless. It feels energizing. It builds sustainable success. It is aligned with values and design. So think of it this way. I've said this before, the unstoppable force factors. If you want to work and be an unstoppable force, you've got to embrace and find love. And actually it's interesting, which is I don't want to say it's the opposite of pain, but maybe it has its own type of pain. Love. Love, my friend. Love is what empowers you to be more than you are right now. Do you want to stick to a schedule? Maybe fall in love with what you're doing. Are you having a hard time finding your routine, or do you not reach out to people for your business? You're not doing prospecting. Is it you're not disciplined, or is it that you're not in love? In love with what? In love with what you do. Do you love what you do? I just do mortgage. I just do real estate. I just do construction. I just do coaching. No, you don't. No, you don't, my friend. You know what you do? You transform lives, and the transformation you bring happens to happen through what it is that you do. What you do is an expression of what you believe. I'm going to say that again because this right here is the thing. This is a part of the formula. If you do something and you believe something, by the way, we call it a profession. Doing and believing is what releases the power. If you're not doing, might be because you're not believing. I remember working. Another sales story. I used to sell something that nobody could believe in. As a matter of fact, I don't know how I worked my way to the top of this company because I found a way to believe. Found a way to believe. We were selling print directories in the age of the internet boom. And what I was selling was advertising space in that print directory. I knew it wasn't the best form of advertising. If you had $1,000 to place here or $1,000 to place online, you can track online. You couldn't track in our directory. You could see what happened. Return on, there's so many reasons why doing it online was better than doing it in the directory. Until I gave myself the opportunity to find a story, to frame it, to narrate it. And I had to be honest. I had to say, you know what? I don't believe this. But here I am selling it. We're not bad people. We're not doing bad things. I just don't think this is the best solution. But what if it were? Are there any circumstances that we could build? Is there any case that we could build where it would be, where it could be? I said, well, I guess if we could make sure people reached out to the members from their ad. So if they use this as a sales tool, well, that's something that an online ad couldn't do. So that became a part of my narrative. There were a few key phrases that started bubbling up in this, but I had to stop. I had to pause what I was doing before I could re-enter. And so I sold differently than everyone did there. And I said, I will only let you buy this if you'll let me train your team on how to use it. So you need to buy this ad. This is better than anything else that you can do. And this is why it's better, because it gives you access to all the membership. If your team will sell from it. Do you want marketing to be marketing, or do you want to sell from your marketing? Because if you want to sell from marketing, I'm your stop. If you just want marketing, I'm not. And that right there created a result. It's a narrative. Do you need to re-narrate something you're doing and find belief? It is the beginning of a new year. It's the end of an old one. If last year sucked for you, don't say it's not. It's like maybe it sucked. You could what did you learn? Can we frame it that way? What are the positives? Can we frame it? I lost my business. I lost this person. It's like, cool. That's a part of life. That's a season. We grieve, we lose, we frame it. We do it in a way to where we can look back and give meaning to it, because it doesn't matter whatever happened to you. Only you can give it meaning. So what meaning will you give your past? Well, I grew up poor, and okay. So does that give you a justification to do mean things, bad things, hurtful things, stay where you're at, stay trapped, be a victim? Or does that give you a hero story? Do you see the positive narration that you can actually give to that? Hey, listen, I grew up and you know what I didn't have, but you know what I did have? And that we're able to give the past meaning. You're looking at a guy who has reinvented so many things that I could say, I have done so many things and I don't it looks like I'm inconsistent, but you know what it is? It's funny. We were just going through years of taxes. And there were moments to where it's like, oh my gosh, I wasted money on that. I wasted money on this. I wasted money. And I said, nope. I look at that and I see a man who is trying to reinvest and find a new way. I see someone who had a positive outlook on what was happening. So maybe that's you. Maybe it's time to re-narrate what it is that you do, or maybe it's a time to redefine it. Maybe it's a time to redefine it. the 4 quadrants. Love who you are. Well, we're, we are bringing honor to the question that I hate, but it's still like something I want. I want to feel good when you answer it and when I answer it. And it's like, you're at the party and someone says, so what do you do? Right. That second question people ask you when they meet you, what do you do? So let's bring honor to it. And the way that we bring honor to that is we need to love what we do. Can you fall in love with what you're doing? If not, you may need to go do something else, actually just go do something else, or find a new way to see an old thing. Maybe find a new way to do an old thing. Find a new adventure to take with the old thing. But if you cannot find a spark, leave. You were meant to love. You were meant to create. If you can't do those things, whatever you have will be soul sucking. Well, maybe your business has been soul sucking. Maybe your profession has been soul sucking. Is it perspective or is it environment? We had a heavy fog rolling, almost a mysterious fog in the middle of the day last week. It looked like the West Coast. I was looking for my little seeds, and it was a temporary perspective, difference in perspective. It looked like we were in Northern California. If I'd planted my redwood and sequoia seeds out in my yard because I thought things were changing, they weren't. Like there is an environment where those things will grow. No matter what perspective I have, they need that environment. My question to you is, if you're not satisfied right now, is it environment or is it perspective? Before I find another environment, I like to look around at perspective, because a lot of times it's here that's driving all of the other stuff. So let's talk about the gift of easy work. Why do I call it easy work? Because, and here's the truth, I am having to, I really do think for years there's been something I've been saying that I think I've been saying it incorrectly. And I'm here to apologize for that, kind of, but also give like an updated thesis, so to speak. Now, as a Christian, as a believer, I have looked at scripture, and I've looked at when Jesus said, come to me, you who are weary and heavily laden, and take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy, my burden is light. I'll give you rest. I'm sorry, I'm mixing it up a little bit. But I looked at like the easy work, and I'm like, oh, it's easy, right? That means you won't be doing, like, you shouldn't have to be grinding or working hard or any of those things. And I still believe that. And then I looked again, as a Christian, I believe that Jesus restored us to the place of what the garden offered. And the garden was Adam and Eve were working, but it wasn't like soul crushing work. It was, they worked in the garden. They got to walk in the garden. And so my belief then for years shifted to, hey, listen, if you do what comes from your gift, everything will happen just easily. Effortlessly, it will create results. And I think my relationship with effort, like I have to append that. I have to amend that. And what I would say is, easy work doesn't mean it's easy. Easy work means that when you're engaged with it, the burden is lighter. There's a lyric in a song that says, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. I think they actually had that at the end of a movie. I want to say Red Dawn. I can't remember which one. When you are carrying something that you love, you're not aware of the burden. Don't believe me? Find someone in your life that has a special needs child. Look at the amount of work that they have to engage that in their life. Look at like how their schedules change, how they're and though they may be exhausted, ask yourself, do you think they want to do that, or do you think they have to? Maybe a mix of both, but I'll guarantee you they wouldn't want anything else. When you fell in love with the person that you hope, if you have a spouse or if you've ever been in love, when you fell in love, did anyone have to tell you, you should spend more time doing this, spend more time with this person? No, right? When you were playing the sport that you somehow you found something, did anyone have to tell you to do it more? Was discipline ever an issue? That is easy work. Now, I do think the easy money thing can say, hey, this is about leisure and about not doing work. What I'm telling you is that if you train for any sport, there was effort that you put in. that effort, so it wasn't effortless in that there was no work. It's just that the work was easy because you love doing what you're doing. That is the place we're going to. It's engaging love. It's engaging. So love, I love what I'm doing. I love who I'm doing it for. I love this person. I want to rescue this person. I want to help this person. I love myself. God, I love that I'm doing this, or I love who I get to be. I love how it makes me feel. I love the expression that it brings out of me. Those elements, right? I love the process. That is how we work without grinding. It's how we lift a heavy weight without realizing it's heavy. That's the truth. There will be a massive amount of work. Listen, I have a school right now that I believe in so much, and it's time to lift another weight. But it's interesting how many things have happened around every curve and every bend and everything that it's like I do love this. I do want to do this, and yet I have found myself working more. So it's like easy work doesn't mean less work. But that's how I used to think. Oh, it's less work. No, it just means it's not heavy work. It means that when it gets tough, and this is, I think, a test of what you were made for. When your work gets tough, do you still want to do it? When it's at its worst, do you still want to show up? That shows you. Now, if you're at a place and you're saying, if this is actually the litmus test of what you were made for, of vocation, of calling, if you're doing what you're doing and in your mind, you're seeing something else like, oh, I wish I could be doing this thing. Oh, this would be so great if I could just do that. If you have that, this might be one of those environmental shifts I was telling you about. If you have that, sometimes doing something you hate, if you will feel what's going on, it will show you what you want. Make the switch. The same son I was telling you about who was selling insurance, he realized he hated selling insurance 3 weeks into it. And I looked at him and I said, I'm unplugging you. He's like, and in his mind, he just kept wishing he could do automations and build marketing automations for people instead of doing this. I said, go do that. Stop doing this. And right now he's thriving in that business. Sometimes we have an interesting relationship with pain in which we think that we need to keep doing the thing. I would just say, do the heavy, hard lifting, but then look at yourself and say, is this easy now? Or does it make me think of something else? And that's worth asking. There are, history is littered with people. I really feel like built by people who were doing great things for great reasons. Listen, we have lots of schemes too. And that's one of the things when you live in a land of opportunity, there is more opportunity than we can take advantage of. If we are always moving into a scheme, into a easy money opportunity, what's happening is it's going to get your mind off of you consistently showing up or moving in the direction of the thing that you were made for. Hopefully this helps make your next chapter your best chapter.